Math 83, Unit 3, Lesson 5. We're going to multiply monomials. We're going to multiply 7 times negative 5 and get negative 35. And then we're going to add the exponents on x. 5 plus 4 is 9. We'll multiply 3 times 3 and get 9. We're going to add the exponents on m. We have an m to the first right here, so 1 plus 3 is 4. On n, we have 3 and 1 here, and that's another 4, and then p to the third. Negative 3x all squared means negative 3x times negative 3x, so we multiply the numbers in front. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and x times x is x squared. 2 times negative 3 times 4 is negative 24. A times a squared is a to the fourth. B squared times b is b to the third, and then we have a c. Now we're going to multiply monomials by a polynomial, and then we're going to simplify it and write in descending order. So here's where we need to distribute the 3x squared to each term in the parentheses. So we're going to multiply 3 times 7 and get 21, and x squared times x gives us an x to the third power. And now we're going to multiply 3x squared by 3 and get 9x squared. No like terms to combine, and it's in descending order because we have the highest power first, third power, and then down to the second power. We're going to multiply 4x squared by every term inside of the parentheses. So 4x squared times x cubed is going to be 4x to the fifth power. We're going to add the powers 2 and 3. 4 times 7 is 28. Add the powers on x. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus, then 4x squared times x is going to be 4x cubed. We'll add the powers 2 and 1. Minus, and then 4x squared times 1 is 4x squared. This is already written in descending order, and we don't have any like terms to add together. So our final answer is right there. Negative 4p out here in front plus, and then we're going to distribute the 7p to everything inside of the parentheses. 7 times 7 is 49. P times p squared, add those exponents and get p cubed. 7 times 6 is 42. P times p is p squared. And then 7p times 4 is going to give us a 28p. Now here we can combine like terms. I can see that we have negative 4p and 28p that we can add together. But I'm going to go ahead and write this in descending order. We'll look at the highest power, which is p to the third, and we'll write that first. It doesn't have anyone to combine with. And then we'll write negative 42p squared, doesn't have anyone to combine with. And then we can go combine our p's, negative 4p plus 28p. We just add the numbers in front and get 24p. We're going to multiply 6x times everything inside of the parentheses here. So 6x times x squared is 6x cubed. 6x times 3x is 18x squared. 6x times negative 5 is a negative 30x. Then we're going to multiply 2x by everything inside of these parentheses. 2 times negative 2 gives us a minus 4x cubed, and then plus 2x squared. Now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms and write in descending order. We can combine our x cubes together. 6x cubed minus 4x cubed is going to give us 2x cubed. Then we'll combine our x squares together. 18x squared plus 2x squared gives us a 20x squared. And then our 30x, our minus 30x, doesn't have anyone to combine with, so we can just bring him down. Now we're going to multiply binomials. We're going to use FOIL, which is first, outers, inner, last, and then we're going to simplify and write in descending order. So first means we're going to take our first terms and multiply x times x. That's going to give us x squared. And then we're going to do our outer terms, so x times 8 gives us 8x. Then we're going to come multiply our inner terms, which is 2 times x, 2x. And then our last terms would be 2 times 8, and that would be 16. We can combine like terms. Our 8x and our 2x get combined, and so we rewrite this as x squared plus 10x plus 16. We can multiply x times x and get x squared, and then we'll multiply x times negative 7, gives us a minus 7x. Inner terms minus 4x, last terms plus 28. Combining like terms, our middle terms usually combine. We can rewrite this as x squared minus 7x minus 4x gives us a minus 11x plus 28. Do numbers 11 and 12 on your own, pause the video, and then come back and check your answers. Here are the answers to 11 and 12. Now we're going to multiply 8y times 8y, that gives us a 64y squared. 8y times negative 4 gives me a minus 32y. 3 times 8y is 24y, and then 3 times negative 4 gives me a minus 12. Combining our like terms here in the middle, we're going to get 64y squared. Negative 32y plus 24y is going to give us a minus 8y, and then minus 12. 6c times d is 6cd. 6c times negative c is going to give us a minus 6c squared. And we'll do our inner terms here. Negative d times d gives me a minus d squared. And a negative d times a negative c gives me a plus dc. Now dc and cd are like terms because I could rewrite dc as cd. They are exactly the same. And we'll start with negative 6c squared, doesn't have anyone to combine with. We can add 6cd and 1cd and get 7cd, and then bring down our minus d squared. Now we're going to multiply polynomials. So we're going to take our 2x and we're going to multiply it by each term inside of the parentheses. We distribute 2x to everything. So 2x cubed minus 12x squared plus 4x. And then we're going to take our negative 4 and we're going to distribute that to everything in the parentheses. It's going to give us a minus 4x squared plus 24x minus 8. Now we can combine like terms and write in descending order. 2x cubed just comes down, doesn't have anyone to combine with. We can combine our x squares. We have minus 12x squared minus 4x squared is going to give us a minus 16x squared. We'll combine our x terms. We have a 4x and a 24x. It's going to be 28x. And then we can just bring down the minus 8. Doing the same over here, we're going to multiply n by everything inside the parentheses. So n times 8n squared is going to be 8n cubed. And then n times negative n is minus n squared. N times 3 is 3n. Now we're going to multiply negative 2 by everything inside the parentheses. That's going to give us a minus 16n squared plus 2n, and then minus 6. Combining like terms, we have 8n cubed, doesn't have anyone to combine with, so we'll bring them down. We can combine our n squared terms together. We have a negative n squared and then a minus 16n squared. It's going to give us a minus 17n squared. We'll combine our n terms. We have 3n and then a plus 2n. It's going to give us a plus 5n. And then we can just bring down the minus 6. Number 16. Which of the expressions below is equivalent to 65 minus 5x for every value of x? Well, to find out, we have to simplify each one until we find an equivalent expression. So first we're going to go ahead and subtract what's in the parentheses here. 8 minus 3 is 5, and then we can distribute that to 13 plus x. When we distribute, 5 times 13 is 65, and then 5 times x is 5x. Well, that's not the same thing, so we know it's not that one. We're going to do the same for b. We're going to do 2 minus 7 first. That's going to give us a negative 5, and then we're going to distribute that to x plus 13, and we get negative 5 times x is negative 5, and negative 5 times 13 gives us a minus 65. Well, that's not the same thing either, so we know it's not b. We'll look at c. We have 12 minus 17 first. That's going to give us a negative 5. And we're going to multiply that by 13 plus x over 25. So when we distribute, we have negative 5 times 13 is going to be negative 65. And then negative 5 times x over 25 is a negative 5x over 25, which simplifies to be negative 65 minus x over 5. Well, that's not the same thing, so it can't be c. Let's take a look at d. 75 minus 10 is going to be 65, and we're going to distribute that to x minus 1. And then we're going to multiply 65 times x minus 1 and get 65x minus 65. Not that one either. So hopefully it is going to be e, but we'll double check. 4 minus 9 is going to be negative 5. We're going to distribute that to x minus 13. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times negative 13 is a plus 65. Now this is the same thing as this, just rewritten in a different order. I could rewrite this to be 65 minus 5x and it would look exactly the same. So our answer is E.